You had talked to Arkansas for a while, and then they
Yes,
finally
sir.
offered. I mean, were you kind of getting anxious? I mean,
Yes,
would
sir. I was. They'd been recruiting me for a minute, and about 2 weeks before I got the offer, I kind of talked to my parents, and I was like, you know what? If I end up getting this offer, I feel like it's going to be a real hard one to turn down.
course.
I talked to Coach Pittman and Fountain about it, and I was like, if I told him, I was like, if I did get that offer, it's going to be a real tough one to turn down. I mean, everything just fits in perfect. It's only like 3.5 hours away from my home, playing in the SEC, and getting the chance to start like freshman year, because I know they have a grad transfer that has 1 year left after 1 year after this year, and I get to come in, compete for the spot freshman year. So that was another reason why. I mean, you just kind of was super anxious to try and get that over with.
Kickers are kind of treated differently in recruiting. A lot of good kickers don't even get scholarship offers. They kind of the conventional recruiting services rate you guys kind of differently.
Yeah. Yes,
If you
sir.
actually have a kicking recruiting service, you're going to be rated higher than the regulars because some of them have
Yeah.
you as a 3 star. The
Yeah.
kicker people have you as a 5 star. Uh, what, as a kicker, kind of, are you used to that whole concept of you kind of get overlooked? And obviously, that's not true at Arkansas because they have an actual kicking game coordinator that's
Yes.
all he does. I mean, did that interest you? The fact that kickers are obviously, and the whole kicking game is more important at this school.
Yeah. Yeah. It did interest me. It interested me a lot. Like any school that I wanted to go to that was getting recruited by, I had to have a set coordinator. That piqued my interest a lot more than schools that don't have a set special teams coordinator. And Fountain has coached at Georgia Fountain's coached in the SEC for a while now. I know he coached at Auburn for a little bit, and then he was at Georgia. Took Rodrigo Blankenship to the NFL this year, and he's really knows what he's talking about on special teams. And we have Coach Kreisel, who's the special teams analyst there, he coordinated at Army. So I mean, two guys that really know about special teams that put together. I mean, it's just perfect for a guy like me who's really interested in kicking. Once emphasis put on special teams.
And he actually made a visit to you. I mean, that's a little bit
Yeah,
unusual too. But what was that like when he came in and visited?
it was awesome. That was the first time a coach had ever visited me at school. He texted me the night before. And he's like, "I'm going to come up to your school and say what's up." And I was like, "Awesome." It's about 7:20 in morning workouts. We just got a good workout in. I was drenched in sweat. And I was like, "How are you, coach?" And he's like, "Good. How are you?" And he's just had a conversation, gave me a letter. Hopefully getting up on campus as soon as possible. And so it was awesome.
And during this COVID thing, because of the restrictions, a lot of athletes have recruited or have committed to Arkansas and other schools without even having an official visit. And I don't know if you were able to do that before all that lockdown started, but I understand you did visit Arkansas.
Yes, for a junior day. It was an insane experience. First time I've ever been to a SEC school to see like the whole campus and stuff like that. And it was crazy. It was definitely kind of a switch up from any school I'd visited. I visited Oklahoma State and North Texas. Oklahoma State was nice. Both schools were nice, but I mean, I feel like Arkansas just separated it from both those schools. The facilities they have a barbershop there at Arkansas, which is really cool. The baseball game there was insane. That energy was electric at that game. Baseball is pretty big there, so it was awesome. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you as a kicker. Talk about your range, what you feel like your maximum range is, maybe your general effective range, and how do you hope to improve on that a little bit in the next year or so?
Yeah, so last year I went 5 for 7 inside of 49, and that 49 was my longest attempt. That was the first field goal I ever attempted in high school because I didn't get to kick field goal freshman or sophomore year. So threw me out there for 49. I missed it right. I was kind of upset, but I mean I just bounced back and hit a 36 yarder that next play. So, but it was nice. I hit a 47 this year in like about 30-degree weather, which is super cold. It's probably the coldest weather I've ever kicked in, and it was nice. It was some good confidence to get that, but I feel like I'm pretty automatic inside 55. I feel like that's my like really 100%. I'm gonna make it and stuff like that. 55 to 60, 56 to 60. I'm pretty confident, but I mean I'll have to hit a good ball to get there. And as far as kickoff, I feel like I'm pretty accurate as far as touchbacks. I think I had a kickoff long of 79 through the uprights last year, 79 yards through the uprights. So I feel pretty confident in that too. And I can also punt, but I mean they're more looking at me as just to kick field goal and do kickoff.
You said that you kind of are interested, maybe at some point, of getting them to look at you as a punter. Are you going to lobby on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I kind of just want to get the kicking game down first, because I mean, playing in the SEC freshman year is a big time big time step up from high school football, But I mean, if they eventually want me to punt, that'd be a great opportunity too. I'd love to take that on.
What's this been like for you with the shutdown and the uncertainty about playing high school ball and all that? I don't know what your situation is there, but a lot of schools, a lot of these guys still don't know if they're going to have seasons. Like in New Mexico, they've already told their guys you might play in the spring, but not the fall. What's that been like to have to deal with all that?
Yeah, it's kind of stressful. I want to have a senior season. None of my teammates really want to have a senior season because these past 3 years at sophomore, we haven't had the best luck of football season. So we just got a new head coach this year. Everyone's anxious to have a football season. We got almost a whole new coaching staff this year. So I'm super anxious to, get on the field and see how we compete with that. And I know first game of the year, we have, a kid from Booker T, Washington. His name is Kewan Parker. We play them first game of the season. So I'm super anxious to play that game because he's also an Arkansas commit.
What in that process where Arkansas was looking at you, what did they say to you? What was it about you that they liked?
I know Coach Fountain, right before he offered me, he said he loved my competitive attitude. And, that just kind of separated me from everyone else. I feel like that's what really kind of separated me, and my consistency. I feel like I rarely miss field goals in practice and stuff like that. And when I'm kicking at camps and stuff like that, and I just feel like when I need to lock in, I can really lock in, and I feel like they really like that about me.
If you study the whole history of like recruiting for kickers from the high school level to the college level, from college on into the NFL, it really is a kind of a weird thing. Every time there's a guy goes to a next level, sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
Some guys get better, some guys don't adjust. And that's got to be a kind of a mental thing for anybody in your position.
Yeah. I feel like that is a big part of kicking, especially going from college to NFL. Because I know there's been a ton of guys. There's a guy that got drafted in the second round named Roberto Aguayo, who was really, really good in high school. Really, really good in high school and college. Played at Florida State, got drafted his junior year out of high school into the second round, and just never took off. Like his first games with the Buccaneers, he missed like 2 or 3 field goals, and they cut him. So I feel like mental game is a big part of kicking. I feel like I'm gonna have to adjust to it, but I feel like I'm ready for that adjustment.
I don't know how you project this, but you're kicking in a high school game, and then one of these days, not too far down the road, you're going to be in front of thousands, and the game may be on the line. And I've always thought kickers, you kind of have to sit there. You aren't. It's not like you're in the game and then something just happens like a running back. You're sitting there, and then you start warming up, but then you got to trot out there and do it all at once. That's pressure.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure. I remember going into I played my rival school last year, and that's when I missed that 49, and that's probably the most pressure I ever felt under a kick before. And those and onside kicks are pretty pressured too, because all eyes are on you at that moment to try and get it recovered. But I feel like I'm excited for that. That kind of gives me an adrenaline rush thinking about it. Playing in Arkansas, and maybe playing like a school like LSU or Alabama, and having to kick the game-winning field goal. I feel like that kind of gets me excited about it. I'm ready for that.
How do you bounce back psychologically from a big missed kick? Because you feel like you let the fans down and your teammates down, and it's all focused on one guy. With other guys on the field, that doesn't happen, but it's all focused on you. And if you have that issue, how do you bounce back from that?
I feel like it's just like I've kind of learned throughout kicking that one kick doesn't really define you. Like I know a lot of kids think you make 165 yarder, you're going to get a scholarship offer like that. And I just feel like, that's even with making it, missing it doesn't really define me as a kicker. I feel like, hopefully I don't miss, but if I do, I feel like I'm just going to I just put it behind me. It's in the past. So, I'm just moving on to the future, and, I'll make the next kick. Like I feel confident in my abilities to, do that.
What do you plan to do over the next year or so? It won't be actually a year till you're here, but what do you do to sort of get ready for that?
I'm trying to get more live snap holds under my belt instead of just kicking off the holders and stuff like that. I feel like that would really get me college ready, and a lot more weight training, getting more explosive with squats, power clean. Those are big explosive workouts. Really just trying to really get college ready. I feel like weightlifting comes in with managing my leg too. Recovery process with lifting, it gets a lot shorter when you lift weights and get stronger and stuff like that. So that's what I'm really trying to focus on. Just make sure I'm ready if I do get that, when I get the opportunity to start my freshman year.
typical high school team's not going to have some kicking expert on its staff. They just have
Yeah.
somebody that does it. Do you go to camps? How do you try to get yourself better?
Yeah. So I go to mainly three different types of camps: Chris Taylor kicking, Cole's kicking, and then Adam Tanowski with Hammer Kicking Academy. Those three camps I've always visited. I've trained with all three before, and then I have a local guy who played at OU. His name is Scott Blanton. He trains me as well. He does a lot of my technique stuff. Scott really just kind of hones in my technique and teaches me. If I miss it right, he'll tweak my body. Make sure I don't miss right again. Maybe it's my foot contact, maybe it's my upper body turning left, right. He really just tweaks it for me and helps me, succeed.
All right. Well, we appreciate visiting with you. We learned
Yeah,
a
of
lot
course,
about you
anytime.
today, but before you know it, you'll be here, and we look forward
Let's
to it.
hope, man. I'm excited. Go
Oh,
Hogs.
okay. See you.